Welcome to Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, we got a lot to go over tonight, so we're going to get started in NFL free agency. Monday, the 10th of March, is the first day when you can negotiate a contract if you're a free agent football player in the NFL. Our Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a lot of free agents that we're watching to see if they're going to be given a contract or going to be allowed to go out into free agents and negotiate another contract. And that's what free agent's about. We have Chris Godwin, one of our premier receivers that's a free agent right now, does not have a contract. The shooting of this show on a Wednesday night. That could happen tomorrow. It could happen all the way to Sunday. At 8 a.m. Monday morning, 10 of March, if you're a player of an NFL team and then you do not have a contract, you can negotiate you a contract. And believe me, every one of them have multiple agents and they are willing and ready to negotiate one for millions of dollars. So we might have a lot of movement after this show in the next few days with Chris Godwin, our receiver, Levante David, whether he's going to come out of retirement, he's going to retire, or going to come back and play with us. And Berterson, our guard, our starting guard, whether we're going to retain him or go look for another player. We have to go out and find edge rushers on both sides of the front of the Tampa Bay defensive team. And we have got some players that we're looking at. There's a long list, depending on how much you want to spend, of premier edge rushers on the market. Just like going to buy your groceries for your supper at night, you're going to go out and buy the groceries to make that bag to make your supper. Okay? The free agents that have played in the National Football League that are experienced players are now on the block to be purchased. So we're going to go looking for some players next week. But we're going to have a lot of that done this week. And there's a lot of negotiations behind the scene. It's real quiet over in Tampa. That means they're real busy making phone calls, trying to figure out what's going where. Okay? We'll keep you posted on what goes on. A lot of movement on all the teams. The premier wide receiver Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers, one of their all-star players, now a Washington Commander. He was traded before the free agent period. So the team was smart enough to say, I'm going to get rid of Deebo, going to let him be a free agent. So let me call Washington or somebody and see if they'll give me a draft pick, and I'll send him to their team. And guess what? Deebo got sent to the Commanders of Washington. So he is a new Washington Commander. Alex Kappa, who was on our Super Bowl team with Tom Brady here, that went to the Cincinnati Bengals, that was a guard on the Cincinnati Bengals team that played the Rams in the Super Bowl. He is now a Raider. And guess who the general manager and part owner of the team is? This man right here, Tom Brady. He knew him. He was his guard when they won the Super Bowl in Tampa. He went to the Bengals, and now where he's at, the Las Vegas Raiders. So you see a lot of this, who you know, politicking going on behind the scenes. It doesn't supposed to be legal. It's in the non-tampering period, but it's being done. Because Monday morning at 8 a.m., you're going to start seeing people getting traded and moved like a chessboard. And guess what? They had them deals done long before 8 o'clock that morning, or they'd have never had them done that fast. So the big ones are out there, and they're all being looked at right now. And we'll keep you posted here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy about what the Bucs are going after. They're going after edge rushers. They're going after linebackers. They're going after cornerbacks. That's what they're going after. We want to sign Godwin. We want to sign Bredson. We want David to come back to play. But we're going to need some help with Levante David at linebacker. There's no doubt. We're going to need two guys to rush the quarterback. There are no doubt. We're going to need two people to cover the receivers. There is no doubt. And we're going to go get them. Either by draft or by free agency. I think it's going to be about 50-50. Some from free agency, some from the draft. We'll keep you posted on next week's show because there's going to be a lot of news by that time. And now we're going to go on to the Tampa Bay Rays and their stadium saga when they are $150 million short on the bond project to build a stadium in St. Petersburg at Tropicana Field. And right now, the $150 million, Stu Sturberg, the owner of the Rays, says he does not have that $150 million. And that puts in jeopardy this stadium deal because if he don't come up with it on the 31st of March, the deal for the stadium at Tropicana Field is over. So we'll just have to keep you posted on what's going on with the Tampa Bay Rays in that respect. And we hope they can work something out, but it doesn't look very good right now. What happens if they don't build a stadium? They can't move the team. Major League Baseball says you can't move the team. So you got to build a stadium somewhere. we'll keep you posted on what's going on with the Rays. As far as the Tampa Bay Lightning, they are on a winning streak. It's the trade deadline in the NHL, and we have made a big trade, getting Gord back on the team today. We've already got Ryan McDonough back on the teams that we won with the Lightning. We're trying to make a playoff push in hockey with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're playing good hockey. The window for a championship is still open for the Lightning, but they went out and got 2 big free agents, ex-players of the Lightning, and brought them back to the Lightning to try to make a push when the playoffs start in a month. That's what the Lightning's about going on right now with the NHL trade deadline going on right this minute. Will be over Friday. Tampa's made 2 big trades to beef up their team to make that playoff run, to make the Lightning make a quest for the Lord Stanley's Cup. Be the Thunder for our Lightning. Keep posted on the Lightning. They're playing good hockey right now. And now we're going to go to NASCAR. This week was at the Circuit of America out in Texas. The winner was Christopher Bell, the number 20 car. It's his 2nd victory. He won in Atlanta the week before last. So Christopher Bell, congratulations. It's a good race out there at COTA. Endurance race. And that leads me into the 12 Hours of Sebring. Mobile One, presented by Fresh from Florida. That will be held March 15th, 2025 at the Sebring International Raceway. The great 12 Hours Sebring is coming back. 71st edition. So it's going to be a big race. We're going to try to here at the Sports Talk with Kowboy to get you some footage out there at the track this year. It's going to be the cars of the Porsches and the Audis. We've got new cars this year. We got the Audi, we got the Porsche, we got the Acura. We have the Lamborghini that's going to be out there this year in the prototypes, and we have the BMW. So we have those cars all in the prototype divisions. I think we've got 18 prototypes out there this year, and it's going to be really big prototype race. Of course, there's 4 different classes in the GT Pro, GT, LM2, and the ground touring prototypes of the GTPs. So that's one thing about endurance. We're going to try to get you beefed up on endurance racing, so when you're watching the race at the 12 Hours of Sebring, you understand there are 4 different groups of cars running at the same time, and each one of them can win their individual class, but the overall winner is the overall winner, whatever that is, and it always is the prototypes are the biggest class of cars generally. Big field, about 200,000 people expected out there at the 12 Hours of Sebring a week from Saturday. Big race, St. Pete Grand Prix last Sunday there in St. Petersburg. Palou won that race. Big race downtown St. Petersburg in Indy cars. They were down at the beach, at the waterfront there at St. Petersburg at the pier. Make a course in the town. Beautiful course, beautiful on television. And it was just run Sunday. And those drivers, many of those drivers that were there at that race, will be racing at the 12 Hours of Sebring. Scott Dixon, Alex Palou, many others will be riding at Sebring. They had practiced at Sebring a week before they went to St. Petersburg and run on that road course. They were at the track at Sebring. So they are interchanged. The Indy car and the endurance car drivers are interchanged. These are just some things to look for when you're watching the coverage of the 12 Hours of Sebring that will be on NBC and on Peacock. I'll get you some more television next week of what channels you could actually watch the 12 Hours of Sebring on your TV at home if you're not going out to the track. We'll keep you posted on the 12 Hours of Sebring and keep you posted this week in Phoenix for the NASCAR race. And now we're going to go to our questions tonight. And the first question is from Deborah. And Deborah wanted to know what I thought about the chance of the stadium deal being done by Stu Sternberg over in St. Petersburg. And Deborah, I don't think it looks very good. The Tropicana field, I hate to say this, but Stu Sternberg is not going to come with the extra $150 million. And he thinks he's got the strong arm on the commissioner of baseball, because the commissioner of baseball says, look, man, you got $1.5 billion stadium here they're building for you, and all you got to do is come up with $150 million. He says, well, I ain't got it. He said, well, I'm tough. He said, well, I can't give it to him if I don't have it. He said, okay. And I want to move my team somewhere else, and we're not going to let you move your team. Okay, if you don't want to take that deal, you're not moving your team. This is my team. I can move it if I want to. No, you can't. You can't, because the team you're going to play, we won't let play against you. You can't move nowhere without our say-so, and you ain't moving from Tampa Bay area. So between me and you, Deborah, I think Stu Sternberg ought to go and find $150 million to get $1.5 billion stadium built. I mean, it's pretty good, if he really wanted to do it. I don't think Tampa's going to give him that kind of a deal. Tampa's had their opportunity, didn't have the money. We've talked about it on this show for over 2 years. So anyhow, Deborah, that's where I think it's at. We'll see you at the end of March, but it's not looking good for St. Petersburg because of his reluctance to do that. And the next question is from Dan, and Dan wanted to know who I thought would be the players that the Bucks would go look in free agency about. And Dan, I think Sweat from the Eagles is a player that you need to keep your eyes on as far as edge rusher. I think Khalil Mack out there in the Chargers, you ought to keep an eye on. And I think that Khalil Mack's a little long in the tooth, but he might be okay. It wouldn't hurt me if they got both of them and then went into the draft and got a couple more players. I don't think it's Myles Garrett. I just don't think it's Myles Garrett. He's going to want $35 to $40 million a year. He's going to want 2 first-round draft picks. That's this year and next year or whatever. Your first-round pick for 2 years. He's going to want that and the money. And Myles Garrett's just going to take up too much of the money for the Bucks. I don't think they're even going to hunt him. It's just too much time to chase him when they really got to get targets they can get. I think it's going to be Sweat. I think it could be Khalil Mack. There are others out there, but those are the names that I hear a lot coming out of Tampa. So I'm just saying that probably your edge rushers, your linebackers, I do not know. You can get a pretty good one for about $5 million. So I think you could go out and get you a couple of them for $10 million. I think they got about $34 million above the cap, but they got to pay Godwin. And you could release a few players with some big contracts, get a bit more money. But this is what it gets into as far as free agents. That's my pick. Sweat, Khalil Mack, edge rushers. I hope they go get Godwin and those players and get Breedson. And we'll be pretty good then. God bless you for your question. The next one is from John. And John wanted to know what I thought about the Tampa Bay Rays this year as far as how they're going to play on the field. John, I think that they're going to be a good team, maybe 85-win team out of the 162 games. They're going to be a 500 team. They're going to win maybe a few more than they lose. They still lack hitting. They didn't go out and address the hitting. They got real good pitching, which they always do. They do still have good pitching. They got a good rotation this year going into the season. And pitching can get you a long ways, but you got to have some hitting. And they've got some hitting, but nothing fabulous. Do I think that they're a powerhouse in the Major League Baseball this year? I hate to say it, I don't think they are. I wish they would be, but I don't think that they have it in them to get it done. So I'll keep watching them. I hope they win 85 to 90 games, but I think they got to win better than 90 to make the playoffs. So we'll just have to see, and we hope there's no injuries. And you know how it is with injuries in baseball. And maybe some of the hitters that we're counting on picking up and hitting better do that. But we'll just have to watch. But I don't got them in the top 10 or 15 of the 30 teams. I got them about 17 to 18 right now, only because of their pitching. If they had some more hitters, I'd move them right on up the ladder. But God bless you, and thank you for your question. I want to thank everybody. I want you to continue to send your comments, questions, so we can answer them here. I want you to share our show to your friends. I want you to be good to your neighbors and help them up. If they need a hand up, give them one. I want to pray for our country and pray for our president that we continue on our path that we are on and continue to go forward. And I pray for our country and all that's in it. And until next show, God bless you. Cowboy out.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?